howdy. This is a much needed video. It's concerning yourselves. I look so old. I'm dehydrated. In a couple of days. I'm a changeling. In a couple of days I'll have my... Never mind. I change all the time. But today I look haggard. And rightfully so. But okay. This is specifically for a couple of people, but everybody in general. How we view ourselves. If we're being oversensitive, it's not the other people's fault. If other people have views that are upsetting to us, it's our own views of inadequacy concerning ourselves that need to be dealt with, and not those other people. You don't need them in your life if they're irritating you. So say, okay, being on disability and not being physically injured is a problem. Well, that's your problem, because it's not what you might think is how others are going to view you. It's really how you're viewing yourself. Now, understanding that post-traumatic stress disorder is a hardwired change in the brain. It's not overreactions. Of course, we don't have an adrenaline control valve anymore. You know, once you, like the song says, once you take it to the limit as far as shock goes, and dealing with very tormenting issues up close and personal, the brain goes into shock. This is why parts of it we forget. It's a computer overload. And during that overload, just like a computer goes into problems, that it's a man-made product. So it's a man-made fix. We are not a man-made fix. We have to use tools at the time. So how you view yourself, if you're on disability, why is that a problem for you? Now take it back to your upbringing or somebody's words. Did somebody call you good for nothing all the time? You know, my worst abuse, I think, was being ignored. I mean, I spouted at the mouth, but I was ignored. Nobody was listening. Oh, children's imaginations. You know, and I was saying some pretty heinous things. So being ignored, I jut out the mouth. And every person takes a different stance in shock. Some become the wallflower. They want to hide. You know, some become the eternal caretakers, the warriors, the one who takes all the blame. But these are all things that were done at the time that continue on, because healthy living never started. We have to create our own healthy living. If you cannot work, I wish I could work. I did work. But if you need to be on disability, and I'm not saying those that can work go on disability and have an easy time of it. I'm not promoting going on disability, but if you cannot work due to post-traumatic stress disorder, get on disability. you're creating more problems for yourself and more stress in your life that will only continue to get worse and worse. You know, for all those that can work with it, God bless you. You know, I wish I could be back there. You know, I had my long duration of working, but it had to end. I cannot tolerate injustice. And if I go out for too long, I'm going to see it and I'm going to take care of it. The government pays me not to go out and irritate others. So do your research. Why are you feeling inadequate? You know, I've had exes all the time, very jealous of me being home because I had, you know, PTSD. I'd trade them any day of the week. Here's my meds. Here's my PTSD. Complex post-traumatic stress disorder, prisoner of war, concentration camp, satanic cult, all wrapped up into one. Complex. Longer than 6 months, 6.5 years. It's longer than that too. And in one of my videos I said I was turning 51. I'm turning 52 soon. And I don't celebrate that day. I celebrate whatever day hits my fancy, because that day was always a torturous day for me. You know, any days that were supposed to be celebratory. Christmas I don't celebrate. I'm not thankful, so no Thanksgiving. You know, it was hard when I was allowed to see my dad, to sit and see him sick and want him in my life all the time and get rid of the borrowed one. So you really have to face who's the scrutinizer, because words cannot penetrate unless honesty lies behind them. Words cannot harm to such a degree. It could be insulting, but they can't penetrate. Now, if they're penetrating, that's another problem, because you were given so many words that you're used to harmful words. And each one is like a knife. There comes a time when you have to do your own reevaluating and your own good parenting to yourself. You cannot continue to let those words of the past that are now in your head be in charge. Those are not your words. You don't own them. Give them back. You don't have to give them back in person, but the baggage somebody else dumped on your lap and used you as the doormat, get rid of the shit. It's not your baggage to carry. Now, with that baggage gone, there's a loss. And in that loss, you need to fill it with who you want to be, what you will and will not tolerate. You know, if you're not a confrontational person, leave. If you don't like confrontation, leave. Think of another way. Sit down and jot, what's a way out of this? You know, if somebody's condemning you all the time and you're not a confrontation, you're right. You know, you're right. I'm an asshole. Yep, you're right again. I forgot to take the garbage out. Yep, I spilt the milk. You know, you get the firing squad. Turn it around enough that it's not harmful. You're perpetuating, without knowing it, you're perpetuating the stereotype of your own views of yourself probably due to words that you overheard and became a broken record in your brain, and that record is not yours, and it needs to be chucked out. Some major dysfunctional person was a parrot and kept saying it, and you need to just chuck it. You know, if you were big and strong and you had capabilities, and now you feel like PTSD has taken you down and you're not virile and strong like that anymore. There's other ways to be strong and virile. You don't have to go out and work to prove your worth. Your worth was done. Whatever you had to withstand showed your worth. You're still here. That's a strong person. You don't get to go through events like we did and come away with no injuries. But you are a strong person. We're weakened now because of the after effect. And that's okay. We're allowed to be weak. We're weakened in different areas. Those are the side effects of post-traumatic stress disorder. It's a real disorder in the brain because the hardwiring changed completely the routing system of the day we were born. It's not the same any longer. And we can't ever get back to that place. So we have to make do with the place we're in now. So don't feel inferior, overcome. And my video for some reason is going out, so I'm going to hopefully get this out, and don't let somebody else's program in your head be the dictator for the rest of your life. Take that record out, smash it, and install your own. You're not weak if you're on disability. It's not mental, it's the actual brain has been changed. March on.